Hello and welcome back here to Copa America 2019, and for the final time here, pretty much the final time, we are going to be talking about Argentina. And the reason I wanted to do this video is, obviously yesterday I made the match review immediately after the game. I was very tired, it was the early hours in the morning, I'd stayed up to watch it as many of us did, and of course, at that point, it was very disappointing. But at the same time, big credit to Coutinho, to Arthur, congratulations to them there for reaching the Copa America final. But obviously in the aftermath there, and obviously when I woke up here the next day, I've had a chance now to look at those two decisions that went against Argentina, the big penalty calls that were decisive in this game. No doubt about that. They were massive calls, and they clearly went in favour of Brazil. I've had a chance to look at it, I've heard the words from Lionel Messi, very strong stuff, and that's why here, it's been an emotional journey, it's been a really exciting adventure for all of us here this summer on the channel. We have been following Argentina, we've been hoping and praying they could achieve something. Now that journey is at an end, but what I wanted to do here is just wrap that up, just see that off now, one final time. We're going to look at the decisions, we're going to talk about it, we're going to analyse really what on earth the referee was doing. It's all coming up for the final time. Argentina, were they robbed? Because let's first of all hear from Lionel Messi. Let's talk about exactly what he said after the game. He looked very disappointed at the final whistle, but he actually came out in the media following the game in front of the press, and he was defiant. He was really angry, very unlike Messi, and that's what I have to say here. Usually, decisions can go against your team, decisions can go for you, they can go against you. In football, you know these kind of things can happen, and at the end of the day, it's part and parcel of the game, but never ever have I seen Messi come out like this. And believe me, he's had some bad decisions go against him in his day. At Barcelona, of course, we've had very questionable calls, season upon season really, from the likes of Real Madrid in La Liga. And of course in the Champions League as well, we've had heartache, we've had bad decisions go against us. But never have I seen him come out and be this angry. Clearly there, on that field last night, there was a real sense of injustice. And the reason for that is, VAR was in place. VAR was there for everybody to go and have a look, go and review the decision, go and analyse the situation and make the right call. Was it done? Was it consulted? We don't know. All we know is Argentina had two massive claims turned down, and I think Messi is absolutely right here. They gave everything, Argentina. They went out as a team, they left it all on the field. Messi himself had a great performance, and they really did believe here they did enough to go through to the next round. But no, the referees made two bad calls, and Messi said they were not better than us. Brazil were not better than us. He said Brazil did find the net early on, but their second goal came from what should have been a penalty on Sergio Agüero that the referee did not award. He said the officials booked us for so much and they didn't even check VAR. He said that is incredible. And he said this happened all the way through the game. At first glance of contact, they ruled in Brazil's favour every single time, and this kind of distracted us from the game itself. He said this is not an excuse for the team, but we need to review this, we need to analyse it, and he said, I hope the CONMEBOL, the federation of course in charge here of Copa America, he said I hope they do something about this. I hope they look into it because it should be reviewed. He said we played a great game, we made a great effort, and Brazil, I repeat, were not superior to us on the night. And Messi certainly wasn't alone. There were many Argentina players there, very unhappy, and even Argentina themselves as a federation are trying to lodge a complaint with CONMEBOL over these kind of calls. Also yesterday, Sergio Agüero came out. He said the feeling is not good within the camp. He said the second goal was extremely controversial. Juan Foyt stops thinking the referee was going to stop the game and call a penalty. VAR worked very well until today. Just incredible. He said we don't pay attention to the things on the pitch usually, but that Dani Alves foul on me, he takes me out. He said I don't know why the referee didn't check it. At the time, he may not have seen it, but they told us there that VAR would become a fifth referee. Why is that not the case? Sergio Agüero, just like Messi, absolutely incessant there. The fact that VAR wasn't checked. Why on earth did the referee not go to VAR? He didn't seem to want to. He didn't seem to want to go and check these decisions when that's why it's there. That is why the technology has been brought in, but for some reason, Brazil against Argentina in Brazil, it just didn't happen. And to be honest, the referee had a really bad game in general. 5 yellow cards went the way of Argentina, and every single yellow card seemed to be for the very first foul from that player. It was even early on, Tagliafico, just a few minutes gone, he goes into a tackle, gets a yellow straight away, and every single foul that Argentina made, it usually resulted in a yellow card. Very, very quick he was to go to the book with Argentina, and like Messi said there, if there was a 50-50 decision, it usually went in the favour of Brazil. Very, very interesting indeed there. But look, let's look at these decisions, because the first one is absolutely crucial in a massive, massive moment in the game. No doubt about it. At 1-0, Argentina are growing in the game. They've hit the woodwork twice, they're going forward, they're really, really trying to put Brazil under pressure, and one goal there could have changed this entire game. And believe me, I'm not making excuses. I'm not saying here that if these 2 decisions had gone Argentina's way, that they would have won the game, they would have won Copa America. I'm not saying that. I'm not using it as an excuse. But just because something isn't an excuse doesn't mean that we shouldn't talk about it. Just because somebody has made a mistake here doesn't mean that we can't come out and complain about that, because they should. With the technology there, they should be getting these things right. And just coming out here and saying, oh, well, you can't just make excuses, that doesn't excuse what we saw last night. It simply doesn't. You look at it here with Agüero. Messi is breaking, he plays a pass in behind, yes, it gets cut out, but look at that challenge. Obviously, I can't show the footage, I wish that I could. I was even considering taking a copyright strike to actually show this to you guys, but look here, he plays the ball there, Agüero, Dani Alves, there's a clear coming together. Agüero is looking to get onto that ball, Dani Alves is not looking at the ball isn't going to get to Agüero, but Alves clearly trips him, brings him down in the area, clear contact, and I've just got no idea. I've got no idea why in that moment the referee there doesn't go and check VAR. Now, what I want to say here is, one fight though shouldn't be stopping. There's no excuse there as a professional, top-level player, just like we saw with Barcelona when they switched off in the corner against Liverpool. There's no excuse to stop. Never while you're on that field, and when the ball is in play, do you stop. You keep playing to the whistle. Don't just stand there and think that something is going to happen, because certainly Brazil took advantage of that situation, and that's where the second goal came from. If the referee there had called the penalty, there wouldn't have been a Brazilian second goal, and potentially Argentina would have been level in that moment. So in that one moment, the game completely changes from Argentina potentially equalising to Brazil killing the game 2-0. But even then, there was one more decision, and it comes here from a corner kick. It's Otamendi who's going to be attacking the ball, and it's actually Arthur Melo defending it. Now, as you know, guys, I absolutely adore Arthur. In a Barcelona shirt, believe me, I'm going to love him more than ever before. But right now, this is a clear penalty. It's a clear penalty, and it's a very, very clear sign. In any situation like this, when the player is only looking at their man, he's not even looking at the ball, he doesn't even watch the flight to the ball, all that he's doing is watching Otamendi, and just like Alves on Agüero, he clearly takes him out, he clearly blocks him, he stops him from advancing, and that there, again, very, very clear. These aren't sort of minimal calls. You saw it last night if you watched the Women's World Cup, England against the USA. England there got a penalty for minimal contact against the USA, and that was missed. But it was very, very minimal. It went to VAR, but it was given. This wasn't minimal. This was clear, obvious contact, and that's what VAR is about. VAR is clear and obvious errors. If you're not using it for this, what are you using it for? And this is the problem here. This is the problem for me. The fact that this tournament has been run by VAR. Right the way through this tournament, all we've seen is stoppages, disallowed goals. That's all we've seen from Copa America. There's been nearly as many disallowed goals as there have been normal goals because of VAR stepping in every now and then, all the time in games. We've been stopping it because of VAR. But yet, in this game, the biggest game of all here, the massive game in this tournament, where the pressure is so high, the referee was inexperienced. He needed help from the technology. That's why it's there, and yet nothing at all. They didn't even bother checking it. Why didn't they check it? Because it seems like to me there's one of two things that's happened here. Is it a coincidence that the decisions here were not checked that would have gone against Brazil? Is it the fact here that Brazil were meant to reach the final? Was it here the fact that it was a blind eye turned because Argentina were the ones who could have been on the receiving end of two possible penalties? Or was it just the fact here that the Federation wanted a great game? They wanted a great game between Brazil, Argentina, and for that reason they decided here, let's ditch VAR. Let's not use it. Let's not bring it into play. Let's not interrupt it. Let's just have a free-flowing game without technology. And yes, That's actually what I'd love. I'd love these kind of games without the stoppages, everything in the moment, all of that emotion. But at the same time, VAR is here. It's here now. We've got it. It's in the game. Use it. If it's here, you have to use it. You can't just decide when and when not to use it. In some games you'll use it, in other games you won't. You have to be consistent. VAR is in the game. VAR is in the tournament. We've used it right the way through for so many disallowed goals. Uruguay against Peru, 2 goals disallowed. Brazil themselves against Venezuela, 3 goals disallowed. Right the way through this tournament, all we've heard about is the use of VAR. But now, when it really, really mattered, nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. And that for me doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. Yes, Argentina were robbed last night. Would they have won? We don't know. Would they have won Copa America? We still don't know. Would it have changed anything? We don't know that either. But all I know is those decisions last night were very, very wrong. It was a good game between 2 good sides. Argentina played extremely well, but in the end, they were let down by 2 big moments in the game. That Agüero Alves one was match defining. They could have gone to VAR, they could have looked at it, they could have checked it, they could have reviewed it, but they did not. And the question is, why did they not? So that there, guys, is me wrapping up on Argentina's Copa America campaign. The decisions were wrong, the decisions weren't checked, but at the end of the day, we cannot change that now. Brazil are going to the final, and like I say, I congratulate them for that. It's not their fault. It's not their fault what happened last night. They took their chances. They scored 2 very clinical goals. They are in the final. They're going to be trying to get their hands on a home Copa America victory. But for Argentina, they will be starting again, and certainly, though, they will have their eye on Copa America 2020, hosted in Argentina and in Colombia. Will Lionel Messi be there for that? And if he is, it could be his final chance of an international trophy or certainly a Copa America title with Argentina, because after that, there's no Copa America until 2024. 2020 is where it's at, but right now, in 2019, Argentina, sadly, out at the semi-final stage. And of course, guys, in these big game-defining moments, I want to know your thoughts. What was your thoughts there on what we saw last night from the officials? What happened on the pitch with those big calls? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now we'll wait and see who Brazil are going to face in the final. But for Argentina, it's all over for this year. And until next time, it's Copa America.